information, I've just realised.
Are we streaming Uta?
Probably says we're streaming Uta, yeah.
That's fine. Might make people more likely to watch.
More people will watch for Curse of Strahd, surely.
I think Strahd is the lowest views, though, you know.
For how popular it is, that's mental.
You've been checking.
Not recently, but when I was watching. What happened last time?
It's a really good question.
So they escape. The survivors escaped the hags. Alexander and Irina went to the guy who runs the town, his house. They didn't want to. It was terrible. And then we all met up in a woods. And Alexander, in character, fully freaked out because Absence had fiery red eyes. We all kind of cried it out, had a bit of a hug fest, and then returned to the town. And they were the two people who helped us. Yeah.
And then we did a cutscene. Meanwhile, in inverted commas, Darsin is escorted to a mysterious castle.
Yes.
I wonder
And I think that's where we left it.
It was mainly... Oh no, Cedric is dead. Well, I'm
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Oh my god, Nick, have you caught up? Do you know Cedric's dead?
No, and I don't know what's happening with me.
Oh shit!
So you stayed back in the... Oh god, what do you last remember? You escaped.
Yes.
Cool. So you and Irina and Alessander and this lady that walked out of the woods, Dagmara. Dagmara escorted you to Vallaki. You managed to get in. And you stayed at the Blue Water Inn, which is where Alessander left you. So you are still at the Blue Water Inn.
Alright, would I know how to find everybody else?
They have left. You know that Alessander and Irina left to go back to the Windmill to try and save your friends.
Okay, cool.
The idea is, I think we should be getting back to you by like a certain time, and then if all else fails, you are our last hope.
Okay, alright.
And
Cool.
and Mick would know a little of the encounter that you had with the... I've forgotten the title, the mayor of the town, and what's happening there.
You might have reported back. Everyone in town pretty much walks on eggshells because the burgomaster, Vargas Velakovic, insists that everyone is happy all the time, and that's how we drive away Strahd, in his opinion.
Right, okay.
And then I think the only other thing was the little girl that we rescued from the hags is now being looked after by the woman that runs the inn until we get back, and then we've got to find some kind of home situation for her, probably an orphanage, but we're going to probably find out the orphanage is a meat factory for another set of hags, and it's just going to be an ongoing cycle of absolute betrayal and torment.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay.
So, we'll start off with...
It didn't go well.
Oh!
You hear
he's
me
here.
okay? It didn't go well.
Yeah, that's the summary you only really need. And honestly, that summary fits pretty much every campaign we play.
It has not gone well.
Do we make bad decisions?
Are we the bad guys?
We make
Yes,
entertaining
yes.
decisions.
Matt broadcasting from the back beyond there.
I am literally in a car park in the Lake District.
It's so nice of you to fit us in between your dogging appointments.
I like to think of Matt as the UK equivalent of Walter White. He's in like a little meth lab up in the lakes. Smoke billowing out of his camper van.
Onto me.
And with that, let's pick up with you've just outside Vallaki's gates. You have Irina, Dagmara, and her brother Theodore, who helped rescue you. Lead you back to Vallaki. And we are with Milton, Absence, and Alessander. Dagmara will stop you before you get too close and say, oh, how do you do this accent? I want to suck your blood. Absence.
Is that your warm-up routine for Rovians?
Yeah.
Primer.
I just sit and look in the mirror and do that over and over again. Or watch Count on Count. Absence. I'm really worried about us being able to get back in there when you look like you do. Is there...
Everyone keeps saying this, but what? Look like what? Just give me a mirror. Somebody give me a mirror.
I don't think any of us have a mirror, but it's the glowing red eyes. They're going to think you're some kind of... And she sort of stops herself. You don't look friendly at first sight.
We'll look around if there's no. Have a look around and see if there's a little puddle, muddy water or something. You can see your reflection.
Sure. I'll have a look around.
I won't make you roll for it. It rains all the bloody time in Barovia. It's like Wales. You find a puddle. I mean, it's murky. It's not going to give you a very good reflection, but you can clearly see that your eyes are glowing.
I need to figure out what's causing this and stop it, but I do have a mask and a hood I can wear. I'm not sure it's going to help. It seems to be giving off light.
I've never seen anything like it before, but yes, anything will do. Try the mask. Hood up.
This look is a look I tried on Alessander the first time. I met him in the death house, and he didn't fall for it that time, but it seems I'm stuck with it now.
We might circle back to Death House. Never mind, just put the mask on.
Yeah, Absence will take a quite ornate mask in the visage of a raven, and we'll put it on. Whether or not it will stop the glow of the eyes, I don't know, but it's worth a try.
Oh, you tell me, it's your mask. Does it have eye holes?
It does have eye holes, yeah. I have to be able to see somehow. In fact, Absence always had black eyes with no white, so he never had to really hide his eyes.
You now have a tiefling in a raven mask with bright glowing eye.
Yeah, what could possibly go wrong?
In a place where everyone knows that ravens usually imply Strahd.
Well, I shall put a hood up as well and try and shadow my face as best I can.
That will make it less sinister, I'm sure.
So, what do you suggest? I can use thaumaturgy, but it seems to instantly change back. Some people found my black eyes intimidating, so I could change them to look nicer for a while, but even that doesn't work now.
In all honesty, This is potentially worse. What if you tell them you're in costume or something? You're a performer.
I think you can see from Alexander's expression that no one's going to buy that.
Alexander still looks like he's on the verge of vomiting. He's standing closer to Absence, but he's still very uncertain.
Well, if the performance ruse doesn't work, or we decide we're not going to say that, then the only other option, I think, is to close your eyes. We'll have to guide you.
You want me to put a blindfold on? You want to pretend that I'm blind?
People are less afraid of blind people than ravens with big red eyes. I don't think that's a terrible idea.
Okay, blindfold me then. But if anything happens, I'm taking it straight off.
What?
Dagmar will look around, and seeing no one motion to a blindfold they have on them, just without really thinking about it, start tearing a bit of her sleeve off. And she will affix it to your face with the mask still on, or
No, I'll take it off if I'm not gonna. No, I will take the mask off.
she'll fix a blindfold to you. Now you are just red, which I think we can deal with.
Yeah, red with horns. I've had bad welcomes in nicer places than this. Before I had red eyes.
Well, when people meet you, they will know you are not what they might think you are. I hope.
Question.
Hmm.
If we were dead, would we know it? Is this hell?
This is a... Oh, you mean everyone here in Barovia? Not just the existential, are we all actually dead?
No, is this hell that we are in now? Are you even real? Are you some kind of demon sent to taunt me?
She'll sort of furrow her brow and think for a moment. You are becoming very paranoid, which I don't blame you for, but no, I think I am as real as anyone, and so are you. And she'll give you a light poke in the chest.
I guess you would say that, though.
For fear this is becoming a vicious circle, would you like me to guide you? And she'll offer her... Well, she won't offer your arm, she'll sort of take your arm and hook it in hers.
Okay.
Theodore will take your other arm, so you're guided on either side by both of them. And if you're ready, you can approach.
Ready when you are.
As you get closer, the guards will greet you. Who goes there?
Game's paused, V.
There you go.
Alexander will step in front of people and it's like, my name is Alexander. You allowed us through last night. We've only left quite recently. We bring some of our companions. The can't remember what it's called. The Baron is is expecting us.
Ah, yes, we have been told. There are more amongst your company. We will have to give you the briefing as we did you. I hope you understand.
Yes. That is fine.
And you can make your way inside, and as you do, they'll explain that mention of the name Strahd is strictly illegal, and that is the last time you will hear it, and you're to refer to him as the devil. That the town holds a festival each week in honor of the residents' general merriment and support of the burgomaster, and all inhabitants of Vallaki, visitors included, are expected to attend. Failure to attend will be in strict opposition to the law, and failure to comply with the law will mark you as criminals, and you will be punished in accordance to the justice system. Vallaki supports its citizens' right to bear arms, but any weapons you carry must be documented, so they ask you to please declare and display any weapons or magical items on your person.
I've got a horrible feeling that I was disarmed by the hags and I never actually picked my weapons back up.
You did just run for it, yes.
Yeah.
Likewise, I don't really need weapons anymore.
You just pull out your pockets and there's nothing in them.
No.
Actually, I have a light crossbow, which I will declare.
Good, and Theodore will declare his bow. Before you enter, one of the guards will stop you, Absence, just put a hand to your chest and say, "We have not seen a man like you before. What are you?"
What am I? I can't see, so.
Well,
I'm
you must.
tiefling.
A tiefling.
Mm-hmm.
They'll look to you, Alessander, and this is one of your party. You vouch for them.
Yes. So fine, upstanding man, and I don't see why you'd be questioning him in this way just based on his appearance. Truly, I'd expect better.
I understand you are new to this town, sir, but we are under constant threat from the devil. So excuse me if we must show some suspicion when a man in red with horns walks in.
Tell me this
Do
devil.
tell, does
Sorry, Alexander. This devil you speak of, is he red with horns?
It is a form he may choose to take. We have not seen him in this town for nearly a century because of our hard work and strict laws. We keep the devil out.
Well,
I must say,
yeah.
it's possible
Sorry.
that you haven't seen him in 100 years because you're only looking for people with red skin and horns.
We'll let you pass. I just need to make the burgomaster aware of this.
You have some kind of test to make sure that I'm not. Whatever it is you
Unfortunately
think I am.
not. But there will be eyes on you. Be aware of that.
I'm not going to be able to tell in case you haven't noticed.
On your way. And would you like to head back to the inn? Or elsewhere?
Does anybody
I believe-
remember the didn't we have something to deliver from the Vistani?
I believe we were supposed to buy a toy and then deliver
I
it
think she give us
to.
the toy, and we just need to deliver it. But I've forgotten.
She
So what's
trustingly
happened?
gave you 25 gold to purchase a toy and deliver it to the Vistani camp that is outside Vallaki.
I'm wondering if she gave the money to Cedric.
Oh,
No, okay.
Knowing,
She didn't. No.
knowing you lost that, we'll say no.
I should have had time to loot Cedric's corpse.
Rude.
Don't we all? So, I believe it would probably be good to return to the inn, make sure that you were all fed at least, and have a chance to clean up if you so wish. That will also mean that we can meet back up with Mick, and I can see to the care of our charge, the child we did manage to save. I'm sure the Burgomaster will call for us as soon as he's aware that we have returned, so that the quicker we move, the better we would be.
Yes, I agree.
As you pass through town, it's about midday now because you went out first thing, and it's, for those of you whose first time it is in Vallaki, it's significantly different to Barovia. There are rows of houses, people are out in the street, chatting with one another, purchasing things from shops. You can see into houses, the windows and doors aren't all boarded up, and there is a definite guard presence. Not doing anything, just they are present in the main areas of town. You walk past them, walking back and forth between the walls of the city. And let's take you to the inn. I have too many tabs open. Where's the inn? Right, so you pass through the town square. Unlike when you arrived, Alessander and Mick, and there was still evidence of the previous festival. Bunches of flowers and garlands, they've all been taken down now. And the inn is probably the friendliest looking place you've seen in the entire time you've been in Barovia. There are people eating and drinking, clearly lunch services going on. There's a lovely atmosphere. It's an actual tavern. Mick, are you happy for us to say you've come downstairs and you're in the bar, or would you like to still be in your room?
No, I'll be downstairs in the bar and drinking just water, probably.
Fabulous. And Darsin, are you happy to be playing in the corner?
Yeah, sure.
Then they have agreed to give you a free meal in return for you to play a song for the patrons. What would you be playing?
I don't know. I imagine something that kind of fits almost with like the Vistani feel that he kind of goes for, but maybe also sounds morbidly dark, given that it's Barovia.
You're singing the tale of someone who eventually dies, but it's in this lovely, jolly, sort of gypsy folk style. Just for everyone else again, shall we, as you walk in, describe our characters. We haven't seen Mick in a while. It's the first time we've seen Darsin. And I don't know that I made you do it last time. I'm gonna go Darsin first.
Okay. So Darsin is a just under 6 foot tall elf fellow. He's got kind of long, flowing, dark brown hair, kind of like a lengthy, knotted little beard. He's adorned in a mixture of clothes that kind of make it hard to tell if he's supposed to be like a member of one of the Vistani things or kind of just like some kind of like high class noble who's kind of befallen a few harder times. But despite the state of his clothes, he still looks quite clean, quite well kept. It's just that his flashy clothes of like dark blacks and greys and splashes of purple have been a bit harder worn.
And your little friend on the bar?
Yeah, and next to Darsin, there's a tiny little crow who is just like stepping on the bar.
What the
and, like,
fuck?
flapping slightly as he's playing his music, doing a little head bob.
I think he's the MVP. Alessander?
I don't remember what Alexander looks like. A somewhat tall elf, half elf, slightly over 6 foot tall, white blonde hair, good looking, young lad. You'd say probably in his early 20s. Wearing clothes that are very finely tailored, dirty, as if he has been dragged through a bush backwards, probably doused in blood a few times, and has walked through a room waist deep in somewhat like sewage water kind of stuff. But you can tell that there's money there somewhere. And yeah, he looks like a bit of a lad, but also absolutely terrified.
Money there somewhere. Matt? Sorry, Absence. Well, we sort of know what
yeah.
you look like from description, but go on.
Yeah, Absence is probably just shy of 6 foot tall. He's got like deep red skin, no hair on his head or his face. He's now wearing a blindfold. He's got sort of black horns which come out of the front of his head and hug the top of his head and turn out at spikes at the back. Not like a traditional tiefling, and he's wearing green, sort of loose-fitting green clothes with arm wraps and leg wraps on his sort of forearms and calves. And he's blind. He's got a blindfold on.
Milton?
Yeah, Milton's probably just stepped through, and he's be looking around in wonder a little bit, even though he's trying to keep things together with everything that's happening and all this newness. He can't help but sort of display the fact that pretty much everything he's seeing is something new or something for the first time. He's not very well travelled. He's not very experienced. Doesn't know a great deal about the world. Despite that, he's not a young lad by any sense. He's probably 30s or 40s. And yeah, he just looks a little bit naive, a little bit green, from an experience point of view, not the colour. But yeah, he's a human, male human, probably around about 5'9", 5'10". Not overly well built or scrawny, just your typical nondescript. Would look like a commoner, I guess, in any other circumstance. He's got a few wounds that he's cleaned up as best as he can so as not to stand out, but there's some bruising beginning to beginning to lift and purple and yellow around his eye and some bloodied knuckles, and it looks like he's been through a bit recently.
We just established that Milton has a dad bod.
Yeah.
Cool. And finally, Mick.
All right. Mick looks a little bit like a goblin. He's about 4 foot tall, and he's got massively long ears, like almost like a bunny. He's quite pretty for a goblin. He doesn't have the usual goblinoid features in the face, but rather more humanoid. Hair is blue, and half of it is in a fringe. The other half is in dreadlocks, and caught behind ears. Sometimes you can see it with their ears cropped in a ponytail with hair. And next to her, you'll see a funny-looking cat whose fur almost looks like a cloud.
Bleh.
She's wearing like a leather jacket and sort of plain clothing. You wouldn't be able to see any weapons or anything like that on.
Without really thinking, Absence, as you walk in, Theodore and Dagmara will let go of your arms and run over to the bar to their uncle.
Yeah, I will just stand looking a bit lost in the middle of the floor.
I've got you, Absence, with me. And
This is not going to work.
I think we've got
Lead
further than
on.
we would have in any other way.
Maybe you'd be better off without me. I'm just going to make trouble for you all now.
Talk nonsense, Absence. None of us would be here if it wasn't for you and everybody else. We're stronger together.
Very well, lead on.
Come. I think we both need a drink.
Have you got Foundry
Yes,
working?
you-
Yes, you do.
As soon as Alexander kind of enters, he's going to kind of run up to the bar, make sure that Mick's okay, and then
Hello, welcome back.
are you okay? Has anyone caused you any problems while we've been gone?
No, all good so far. I'm quite stressed, intensely actually. But yeah, where have you been?
Well, we've managed to bring back Absence and Milton, and I'll look over my shoulder at them in the doorway. Unfortunately, there has been some bad news. Whilst Absence and Milton have managed to survive, it seems that Cedric lost his life.
Which
But
one?
unfortunately now he's... Cedric was the other one who thought that everything was going to be okay and that God was going to save them.
I see. Sounds about
that
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I see why he died. Yeah.
Yeah. So Alexander was doing okay until that comment, and now he's just a little bit like,
This motherfucker.
okay, well, maybe now isn't the best time for us to have this conversation. So, we don't want to draw too much attention to ourselves, as we know.
Okay.
And then I'll kind of like...
I'm very, very stressed. Did I mention I was stressed?
Okay.
Yeah.
There's not much
Just
we
like
can
it.
do.
No.
Okay, just say hello to our friends. Don't act too surprised that they didn't die, please.
I mean, I am because well, I ran away. I told you not to run away. I ran away.
Yes, I know, and we did the right thing at the right time for us.
Yes.
They did also run away. It just took quite a bit longer.
Yeah. Hags are very fast, very vicious. Very powerful. I knew. That's why I ran away.
Well, next time I'm sure we'll be listening to you a lot sooner.
So
Not knowing how. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
We just didn't know at the time. We've learned. We'll listen to you more carefully next time, Nick.
Well, I appreciate that. Just, don't be brave. You don't have to be brave. You won't survive this by being brave. Brave people die. I know. I've seen many adventurers die, and they were all brave.
Yeah. Cowardly die too, though. And with that, Alexander will kind of lean over the bar and try and get the attention of the lady whose name I also can't remember, and I really need to start writing these things down.
Is it Danica? Yeah, Danica.
Yes.
If you zoom in, I've tried to put names so that you can see them on the tokens, if you're meant to see them. Yeah, Danica will walk over.
So I'm hoping that I can manage to do this just before Milton and Absence get here, and I'll inform her that we've managed to retrieve 2 of our friends. One of them is red, and may be described as a devil, but I vouch for him. He's a good man. I hope it doesn't bring you too much trouble to have him in here.
No, of course, if he is your friend. And Dagmara and Theodore also vouch for him. That is absolutely fine with us. You have nothing to worry about. You may encounter some trouble amongst the other patrons, but there is not much I can do about that. I am sorry to hear about your other friend.
Thank you. And then I'll turn around and call over Milton and Absence.
Are you having lunch with us? Wine, food, all around?
I feel that would probably be a good idea.
We'll bring it
Lovely.
over. Oh, hello. I am Danica, one of the owners of the Blue Water Inn. It is nice to have you here. I assume you'll all be staying?
I'll hold my arm out in a random direction.
I'll just kind of shuffle him slightly and point him towards Danica.
She will gladly take it.
I'll
It's
shake her
nice to meet
hand.
you. We do have space for all of you. You may have to share 2 rooms, a 4 and a 2, but equally, if you would all rather stay together and you have bedrolls, that is no problem with us.
Did someone say drinks?
Yes, of course, we can sort this out later. She will
Something
start rushing
strong.
over.
Strong, please. Something very strong.
We have a strong wine or a strong wine, so hopefully you'll be happy with either.
Yeah, I'll have one of each, please.
You will walk over to. There are loads of casks behind the bar, and she will sort of show off her husband to go make some food.
I'll guide Absence over to this table in the middle here.
How long have we got to keep this up, Milton?
Just a little bit out of this place. And don't worry
I wonder if he could take it off, and just as long as he doesn't make eye contact with anyone, it will make it easier for him to eat, at least.
What seems to be the problem? Why is he blindfolded?
His eyes have changed, Mick.
Okay.
They're a bit Well, some people find them a bit frightening. They try not to cause any trouble.
Well, that's not. I can just raise a hand a little bit, and with minor illusion creates a blindfold in front of his eyes. But he can actually see straight through it. It's a fake blindfold.
Well,
It might. That sounds good. It might be wise to test it somewhere a bit more quiet. I think I'm cursed.
Just for the DM. So basically, what I'm doing is because he knows it's an illusion, he can see through it, but other people don't. So we can all see through it, but other random bystanders will see it as a blindfold. And that's how mine.
Ingenious. Happy with that. You're not altering him, you're creating something in front of
Yeah,
him. That's fine.
yeah. I don't want people moving it.
Oh, at some point, Myrtle, the little girl, you will notice was sat at the other table playing with two little boys, and she'll run over to Irina and give her a hug, and Irina will just tell her to sit and wait a little longer and listen to what she's been doing with the boys and come join you. You can see from your table they're playing dominoes. There's not much you can do for fun in Barovia. You do also some of you might notice with the higher passive perception just some weird looks from like the gentleman at this table. At some point, Dagmara is going to come over to you, Absence, and say, I wouldn't use it here, but Danica said you could borrow this, and she'll hand you a little hand mirror.
Thank you. I'll return it later.
And in good time, goblets of wine will be brought to your table. 2 for you, Absence. And
I'll
some
neck
roast
the first
meat.
one.
Oh, okay. Let's roll. It's a shame you neck it because it is a really delightful wine. Full-bodied, smoky notes. It goes down velvety smooth.
It's good.
oh, easy Absence.
Yeah, it's a good wine. I'm not
Brace
drinking
yourself.
for the flavour though.
Well, I know we need to regroup, gather our strength. I've felt better, I can tell you that. But then we need to decide what we do from here. I think our bargain that we made with Irina's brother in Barovia was at completion. We've delivered her to Vallaki. If that wasn't our mission, I think we need to look at some other way of finding a way out of this place. I might go and do some shopping as well. I left my hammer. I've lost my shield. Feel a bit naked.
You would notice at this table there's a middle-aged man, typical Barovian, sort of pale, dark hair and beard, average build, who has a little baby sat perched on the edge of the table, and it's almost an alien noise. You'll all turn round suddenly at the sound of laughter. This child is clapping and laughing as she listens to Darsin play his song.
I mean, it is a catchy tune, isn't it? I mean, the subject matter's a bit dour, but the tune itself is quite jolly.
I'm not sure it's a children's song.
I don't think she understands the words, otherwise she wouldn't be laughing.
I hope she doesn't.
When you're done playing Darsin, the gentleman will usher you out, sort of motion you over.
Darsin will like nimbly kind of like sneak past those guys, and Crowford will come and perch on the end of the table.
I just want to say, I haven't seen my little girl laugh like that in a long time. Thank you. It is strange to hear music. It feels like forever since I have heard someone play a tune, and he will hand you a silver piece.
Mm-hmm. Oh, thank you. It's been nice to play for a paying crowd for a change. Normally everyone just kind of shoos you away whenever you try and play something for someone. Everybody these days seems rather unappreciative of any form of art.
Well, it is non-existent here, so I think you will experience more happy customers.
As long as they're paying customers, that's all that matters.
Whatever instrument you were playing, the little girl will sort of hold her hands out and try to grab at it.
It's not really a toy, and they're not exactly easy to replace these days, unfortunately.
Yes, sorry, and he'll sort of gather his baby back up so he's holding her and she's not balancing on the edge of a table.
I mean, Darsin can't really say anything about that. He's just played a horrifying song to an inn full of children. He's not going to comment on the fact she was teetering on the edge of a table. And then after that, I suppose he's just going to like slowly start to like step away. Try and push past Nick. Slowly work his way back into the corner.
Is that man one of the Vistani?
He,
I'm not sure.
Irina will pipe up. He looks sort of like a Vistani, but is he an elf? And you will notice he does have pointy ears, right, Jim?
Yep.
Yep.
Alexander will lean forward and just be. He does definitely bear a resemblance, and just quickly kind of stroke his ear and kind of push his now slightly overgrown hair behind it.
He
You know,
may
we could
be.
ask him.
I didn't know there were many other half elves around here.
Perhaps he is like you from the mists.
Another mistaken.
Hello there, musician.
Hello.
Come and have a seat.
Oh God.
An interesting looking character. This wine's good, isn't it? Absence, you were right. I must slow down a little though, I think. Well, we were just talking now, and we noticed that we thought you were Vistani at first, but then we saw your ears. You got that little point on the end. It's bloody lovely. Anyway, we're just wondering where you're from, isn't it?
The simplest answer is I don't know.
Well, I think that answers the question. Mists it is then.
I suppose so.
Do
How
you
long
know
have you
your
been
way?
here?
Hmm?
Sorry, Milk.
Go ahead, Absence. Sorry.
I just sorry, this wine is really good. You look like a Vistani, and I was just wondering if you know your way through the mist, because we're looking to get out.
No, I wouldn't be here if I knew my way through the mists.
Oh well, nice to meet you then.
But you've lived here long, haven't you? You grew up around here. You've lived here long.
Not necessarily this area. But I have been here a while, yes.
Well, you must know more about the place than we do. In that case, you could be a useful companion.
Oh, companion. Slow down that conversation.
I don't know what you mean for.
I don't think she's hitting on you. I mean, you're quite pretty, but I don't think that's what she meant. Well, unless it was Mick.
I don't understand what you mean, or what you think I mean.
Thinks she want to court him.
Oh God, God no. Ah, sorry, that wasn't personal. Not the kind of thing that no.
Crow! Crow! Alexander, look at the crow. It's dancing.
Alexander hasn't had anything to drink. He's just, oh God, what is going on? It's like a bad family reunion. Yes, Milton. Yes, the crow is dancing. Why? And then he'll realise that is actually quite strange. Look at the new guy at the table and be like, why is the crow dancing?
It gets carried away when I play music sometimes and forgets that the music has stopped and just keeps dancing.
Do crows normally dance here?
Wild ones, no. Pets, yes.
Why would you make a pet out of a crow?
Because it's smart. And it
Of
can
course,
fly.
it's very smart.
Okay. But why would you need it? Why would you need a crow?
It's just a crow.
No, what are you using it for?
Well, nothing. It's just been following me around for ages and I've enjoyed the company.
I see. Do you talk to it?
Yeah, sometimes.
Does it talk back?
No, it's a crow.
I see.
How does Cauliflower react to the crow at the table?
Cauliflower is the other familiar. It just looks like cauliflower. So cauliflower. So she's got intelligence, and she's gonna become. It's not really a cat. It's an urging that looks like a cat. Sending a message about this. Apologies. So yes, it's kind of sits there quietly, observes it.
Good cat.
As you can see from her from up close, it looks like she doesn't really like walk on anything. She more floats like a cloud.
Irina will sort of tentatively hold out hands to stroke the crow and say, "It is very clever that you have taught it how to do that. What's its name?"
Well, I've been calling it Crowford.
Should have got up a dunch for that.
Cough.
I grimaced if that helps.
I saw.
Oh, hello, Crowford. Hello, Darsin. My name is Arina. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Oh, my name's Darsin. Darsin Strandsy, if you need to know the full title.
Arina. I can't remember my last name if you need to know the title. Kolyanovich, that's it.
Is it a title or a name?
Well, names are just titles, really, aren't they?
No.
Family names are overrated.
Well, yes, no. My name's Mick.
Oh, nice to meet you, Mick.
I guess.
We
Absence.
haven't. Go.
No, that was it. That was all I was going to say.
You turned into Pokemon just saying your names.
Yeah, my wine's empty, by the way. He'll hold his cup up and I can get the attention of a bar person. Still keeping up the pretense that he's blind.
I'll
We
call
have-
over Danica.
He will pour you another glass, Absence. Do you like that?
Yep, my name's Absence, not Abstinence. Very good, thank you.
But shit again. Well, Erwin's father makes it, actually. It's the only winery in the whole of Barovia, so it's the only wine you're going to get.
Fortunate it's so good.
Yes, we like to think so. Well, enjoy. And Irina will say to you, Darsin, we have just arrived here. I wonder if you know Vallaki well, or if you too have just arrived.
No, Vallaki, it's a new location for me, unfortunately. My first time here. Really, my first time in this whole area. I've been living more eastward for some time. So I'm afraid some of this, well, a handful of areas I'm likely to be as clueless as you few are if you're fresh in from getting lost in the mists.
Not myself, I am from Barovia. You say eastwards. All that is east of here is, well, my village. Were you living in the Svalak Woods?
I may have got my east and west mixed up. More
Ah.
closer to Kresk.
Ah, I have not been to Kresk. Is it worth visiting?
It depends on your tastes, I suppose.
This is the first
For a musician,
time in...
it's not ideal.
Vallaki is probably the place to be. This is my first time venturing out of Barovia, so this is all new and a bit overwhelming for me as well. Now that we are all here, friends, I must say thank you for everything. When my brother and I asked you to escort me here, we knew that was because it would be dangerous, but we didn't think for a moment. And she sort of looks up and stops mid-sentence.
You wouldn't all get here
Exactly.
alive.
I cannot say how sorry I am that we lost.
It's not your fault. I think we should raise a glass to Cedric. We're all alive because Cedric is not.
She'll agree and hold a glass up.
I don't know who that is, but I'll celebrate too.
I'm not sure how your sacrifice contributed to our survival, but I'll raise a glass for him.
Well,
guess.
maybe not to yours because you ran away like a massive chicken the moment it got dangerous. But
Exactly.
he saved me and Milton.
Are you familiar with the life of chickens? Literally every single chicken dies. That's its life. It produces eggs and then they kill it and eat it. That's the life of every single chicken that's ever lived. So naturally, you'd see why they would be inclined to run away. The first sign of trouble.
With all
Absence,
this
that's
happening,
the-
Alexander gets up and leaves the table.
Nick and Alessandro saved me by running.
That was the right thing to do. He lost his life. I mean, they wanted me to kill him, and I resisted. But for what? I saved that child. They just killed it like it was a chicken or a rat
Yeah,
or an insect.
that's what they do with children. Kill them, eat them. Kind of starts biting her nails as he's saying that.
Yeah.
We saved one. That means something. He would have been glad to know that she made it here. I say that I barely knew him, but I could tell he was a good soul, and if I could bring him back and give my own life, I would.
And what? I think in this place, if you could bring someone back, please don't. Seeing the other side is not. Coming back is not a good idea.
Well, I believe Ismark said he paid Cedric. Did you manage to get the payment from Miss Body?
No.
And I am indebted to you.
No, you already paid. You can't be expected to pay the debt twice. You chose to leave him.
If there is some way I can help you in your attempt to leave, or whatever it is you decide to do next, please know I am, if not indebted to you, a friend for life. I myself do not know what I'll do now that I'm here. The Burgomaster has asked me if, well, he sort of told me I must stay there, but after our one brief meeting, I do not think I would like that.
This place is as twisted as where you came from.
I can see why you would say that, but she'll look round at the tavern, people drinking, the baby, a little music and laughter. Seems a little better.
Well, true, but is it even genuine? Or is it because it's the law?
Question is, Irina, do you feel safe here? If the answer is yes, then any other things like weird customs and are almost secondary. If it's safe, you're alive, you can continue to make choices. What do you do with your life?
I think I need some time to settle in, find somewhere to stay. But right here and now, I feel safe amongst you.
I think we've already proven we can't protect you.
It is not a matter of that. It is that I know you are good people with good intentions.
You know we will look to leave this place. It's at all possible. That doesn't
Well,
worry you.
if you manage to find a way out, please don't leave me behind.
Right, you can come with us. If there is a way out.
I hope there is for your sake. Is Alessander okay?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think he likes arguments. I'd go and see if he's okay, but it might give away the fact that this is a illusion, a clever illusion from Mick. And I saw how Alexander reacted to me. We don't want that to go down in here.
It is quite easy to slip through the illusion. I wouldn't push it. I wouldn't be able to maintain it very, very well if you move too much.
Yeah, I'm not going anywhere. You haven't really seen it either, so yeah, let's not make it a surprise when it happens. Sorry about before, Mick. I've had a few too many, and Cedric dead, and I'm not.
Your description of me and chickens was pretty accurate knowledge. I would argue. Nothing to apologize for. I didn't take it personally.
The right thing. You did the right thing at the right time.
I know.
We should have just kept our nose out.
Yeah. There's a time to fight and there's a time to run.
I'm going to go see Alessander. Are you okay?
I suppose. As well as anyone can be in this situation. How about you?
It's okay to say it, I am far from okay. I am devastated. A man lost his life, in part because of me.
It's not so much that it was lost, it's more that it was taken. And if we just hadn't run, or not run as far, maybe we could have helped.
Or maybe we'd all be dead. Especially Myrtle.
I'm not quite sure what the world holds for her now, anyway. Maybe that would have been the better option.
Shall we, I don't know what your group's next steps are, but shall we investigate this orphanage?
Yeah,
I'd like to see that she has a home.
so would I. She's been through enough. We should try and find somewhere for her that she can be safe. Or as safe as anyone can be in this world.
You think you will go after those hags?
I don't know. I hope never to see them again. But to think that they still have his body. I don't know what they're capable of, but what if they do something? What if they bring him back and it's not our Cedric?
I hadn't been entertained. Do you think that's possible?
I wouldn't have before the mist, but now I don't know. We're in a land of devils and child eating, and
Absence says
I
that
feel,
he came back.
and hopefully he came back as himself. But what if he didn't? What if Absence is something else? I saw something else when I looked at him.
Don't know what you saw, but he seems the same man to me.
I
Imagining
barely
he's
know him. Irina, you have known us a matter of days, and we have nearly got you killed on multiple occasions. So we have all nearly died multiple times. The smartest thing I have done is the most cowardly thing I've done in running away. We have a child now that is dependent on us, and we have no idea what we should be doing. And I really do not know if any of this is even worth it.
It sounds
We would
like
be
another day
better
in
off.
Barovia to me.
And why do people continue to live this way? Have people ever tried to take back their lives?
Irina will look back to the table and say quietly, because there is no way out, Alessandra.
A few days ago I saw myself dead, hanging from the gallows, and maybe that is the better option. There has to be a lake around here. Can't we just walk into it with lead in our shoes?
Irina will take your hands if you'll let her.
Yeah, they are shaking. They are clammy and shaking.
I have lived my whole life feeling the way that you do now, and you have only felt like this for a matter of days. There is very little light in Barovia, and if we were to lose you, we would lose a little of that light, so please do not say things like that. We have lost enough.
It is not a life to lead. To live constantly being suppressed in such a way. You're either outside of the walls and terrified, or you are inside the walls of this town and terrified. It is either be terrified and show it, or be terrified and lie about it.
And maybe you are not here by mistake. Maybe you are here to show us that there is another way. And I would help in that. I don't know what I'm suggesting. I just the joy that what was his name? Darsin brought that little girl. If we can just spread a little bit more of that around. Sincerely, not like this. Not like this burgomaster does, with thinly veiled threats. Maybe if we cannot escape, we can make this world that we have to live in worth living in, somehow.
I don't know.
Well,
But what else can we do?
the burgomaster said he wanted to see us tomorrow, so I will maybe have a few words with him then. Talk to him about the way he's running things. I saw the way my father ran Barovia, and although it was not a happy place, it was not this weird pretense that we have walked into here. You might listen to me, and you.
I doubt I will hold much sway, and maybe we should be careful about not making any more enemies for you if you're going to stay here, to live in this place.
I have not had much practice, but I like to think I understand how to be a politician. I will not make an enemy of him. Don't worry about that.
And I've got a lot to learn from you. Anyway, should we just grab Myrtle and go see about finding her a home?
The orphanage.
She's got to go somewhere.
You'll ask Dagmara to show you the way. And I guess you return to the table and tell the others your plan.
Yep. Are you all feeling a little bit better now that you've had some food and drink?
Oh yes, would be lovely.
Good,
Oh,
good.
I actually should eat some food as well, actually. That's a good idea.
There's some
Yeah.
roast meats in front of you going cold.
I'll just pat my hand on the table as if I can't see where it is.
Colder, colder, warmer, warmer, a little bit more. There you go. Now, once everyone has eaten, if you would be so kind as to come with us to the orphanage, I'm hoping it will be a quick visit, but knowing this place, I'm not sure I completely trust anyone or anything, and I would feel much better if we're not separated. Darsin, I know that you don't know the group very well, but if you know the place even slightly better than us, have you heard anything about the orphanage here?
I have no idea, but I was going to ask to come along anyway, so...
For the purposes of the story, you know where the orphanage is. You've been here 24 hours.
Oh, I could probably point the way. Don't know anything else about it, though.
Well, Cedric died saving this child, so we need to make sure that this place is not like the Windmill. So I'm with you, Alexander.
What windmill?
It's a long story.
Thank you, Absence, and maybe we shouldn't speak of the windmill again,
What windmill?
or at least not anytime soon.
Right, you can make your way out of the tavern, pass through the town square where you can see a variety of shops if you did want to go shopping later. Darsin, you'd be able to vaguely remember your way through cobbled streets, less because you were thinking about remembering where the orphanage was, and more that it was one of the bigger buildings in town, so you can remember that. And I will try and find my notes. Right, you come up to a large building, 2 stories, big green, sort of surrounded by a big green space, separated from the other houses, which have all been sort of blocked out in rows, and you can hear the occasional sort of scream, or not a horrible scream, just how children shriek, come from inside. And Foundry's done that thing where I can't see, so I'm going to be watching the Twitch stream.
I can't see either at the moment, but I think that's just 'cause my internet. It's not very good.
I believe that the last time we entered a place like this with children involved, it didn't go very well.
As in, I'll just say, if anyone offers you a pie, don't take it.
Oh, I don't particularly like pie anyway.
And
That's good.
maybe don't befriend small children who may not be alive.
Well, that's oddly
We
specific.
found they can be quite clingy.
We've got some baggage.
You mean the green one?
What does that mean?
Oh, he seems, well, I don't know. He's a bit of a strange one compared to the rest of you. Although a bit of a strange one.
You have a problem with people who are different.
Definitely not. But someone who's a tad blunt to a near disrespectful degree. It seems to be at odds with the rest of you so far.
Oh, I see.
Are you lot coming or not?
Yeah, I'm coming.
I didn't realise that this place had so many windows. You can see inside there are children playing in a sort of living area. Sorry, go on.
I'm supposed to be blind, by the way. Just to remind you.
Milton, could you keep a hand on Absence, please?
Yes, I've got him.
Thank you.
Is
Don't
it
want him
better?
wandering off.
Well, we're going into an orphanage with children. Is it better if I wait outside or actually wear a blindfold? Because if Mick's illusion slips, then not the place to do it. If it's as bad as you say.
Up to you. If you
Maybe
do-
safer to have you with us than for you to be by yourself outside.
Well, let's put the blindfold on, and I'm sure you'll tell me if I need to take it off.
I'll guide you.
I didn't
Thank
put
you.
the child in. He's there in spirit.
If you get a chance, we could replace my token just to avoid confusion.
Oh, crap. Yeah, sorry, I'm still kicked out of this. So
Oh,
I'm
no.
just watching the Twitch stream. Where are we? You walk in, the sound of children's laughter and general shrieking. amplifies. It's a hallway, wood-panelled, dimly lit, wooden floors, a main staircase leading upwards, a pile of children's shoes lay by the wall to your left. Oh, I'm in. Do you announce your presence in any way?
Yeah, so I'll walk in and look around, then just shout, excuse me? Anyone here that I could speak to?
A teenage-looking boy holding, sort of bouncing a baby up and down in his arms will turn around and say, "Oh God, I can't do a Barovian accent and a 13-year-old's breaking voice. I'll get the headmistress." Miss, sir. I don't know what I'm
Thank
doing.
you.
Bravo.
And he'll walk past you into this room. And this woman will walk out. Let me make her picture a bit bigger for you. Right, so you're met by a tall, very skinny, elderly woman with quite severe features, which seems to be
That's a
just a
hag.
Barovian feature. White hair pulled back into a tight bun, just wearing a very well-pressed black robe. Hello, how may I help you?
I was told to inquire here. I've currently found myself having to look after a young charge. Would you be able to? And he's just getting very uncomfortable with the idea of leaving this kid with scary old lady.
Would you bring Myrtle in with you? I've just dropped her there, but
I suppose so.
I don't-
I'm
would
probably.
Would we? I don't.
I can
don't
drop her
know, we-
outside.
I was thinking we would not bring her here yet, personally, but that's up to you.
I don't know. I kind of want to know what she thought of the place as well.
I see. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, we can't take her with us. Clearly, wherever we're going is too dangerous for a child.
While you're stumbling over your words, Alessander, she'll just sort of cut in and say, "Well, spit it out, boy."
As we walk in, Cauliflower is going to cast Detect Evil and Good. I'm going to see through her eyes. I can post that if you like.
Yes, please. I don't remember what it does.
Honestly, Absence, if this place is run by a coven of hags, the child's still got a better chance of surviving than if we take her with us.
Yeah. Well, she may last longer.
Give me a minute.
Alexander,
You can carry on. I just need to check something.
Alexander will have stood up a little bit straighter, puffed out his chest a little bit, and be like, "I would like to know more about the orphanage that you run here."
Trying to work out. You have broken my game.
I know, sorry. I
You would detect what was it? A fiend above. Not this woman though.
Okay, so sort of in the above floor area.
Yeah.
Okay.
The woman would reply to you, Alessander. For yourself, or do you have charge? And I've forgotten my accent.
Had you actually been listening to me, you would have heard that I do in fact have a charge that I've recently found myself watching out for. So, could you tell me more about this orphanage? This institution?
What is there to say? We take in those who have become orphaned. We try to provide them with a good home. Please, I am happy to show you around.
Thank you.
Is your friend joining us? And she'll look at the little green one in the door. Or is this the charge you speak of?
No, that is not. She can stay here. I may bring someone else with me to actually tour the premises, though. And is Irina here?
Yes? Did somebody say my name?
I'll kind of pop to the door to kind of get her attention, get her to come over, and then try and get from Milton and Absence if they're going to come with us or if they're going to hang around in the lobby.
Absence, if you'd like, I can wait here with you and the child and make sure we're happy before we proceed any further in. I say quietly.
Is it not wiser if you go take a look around, or I can wait here? I'm sure I'll be fine.
But you are blindfolded.
Well, if anyone hits me, I'll take it off. And if anyone attacks me here, then we know not to leave the child here, don't we? Do we really think that's going to happen?
We afford to take chances after last time.
I need to believe that there's still some things here that are good.
Well, I'm going to stay with the child here.
Okay.
Alexander will turn around to the lady and how many children do you have here currently?
Things a DM should know.
Make up a number. I'm not too
13.
fast. 13. Do they often get to see much entertainment?
About as much as anyone else in Barovia. What do you mean by entertainment? We have books and play.
We have a friend who's waiting outside at the moment, but he's a talented musician and he may be able to entertain some of the children for a bit.
Hello.
Hello. Do you have something suitable
think
for children?
I can just play music and not sing.
That's probably for the best. Well,
It is.
if you wouldn't mind, I'm sure they would love to hear some music. Please, most of the children are in here. and she will escort you into the main living area. In there, you will see an old couch, some mismatched chairs, chests crammed with some old toys. There's 3 young girls crowded around a dollhouse. 2 young girls, sorry, at one side of the room. Another boy and girl
Oh,
playing chase through the middle of the house.
it's not a familiar dollhouse, is it?
No. These 2 boys are sat listening to this slightly older girl reading to them, while this boy sort of sits doing nothing, pretending not to hear, but you can sort of see out the corner of his eye he's paying attention.
Darsin will have a look around, and then just stroll over and sit in that little chair in the corner, and then just start trying to like play out a little tune.
Almost instantly, everyone will flock to you. The 2 children that were running in and out of the house into the garden and back will sort of essentially stumble over the sofa in an effort to get to what I guess is your front row and watch quietly and in awe.
While that's happening, Nick is going to inform Absence and Milton that there's a I don't know if that's of interest to you, but there is a demon on the top floor.
Nice and blunt.
The, a demon.
Yeah, like a fiend. There's a fiend on the top floor. So I don't know if that's the usual thing for orphanages. That may have been wrong.
Well, we need to get the child. We need to get all of the children out now. When you say demon, you mean they look like me, or
No, well, fiend. I don't. Are you a fiend? You're not a fiend.
oh,
Well, I don't think we should get all the children out because we don't know what it is. But I thought while they're all occupied watching the performance, we can go upstairs and have a quick look.
oh, we could. It didn't go well last time.
Wouldn't your default stance be to run away at this point?
And not before I know the estimated threat of the fiend. At this point, the risk reward ratio is still decent enough for me to go upstairs. There's 13 children in there. We're about to write another one. It'd be nice to know if there's a fiend on the top floor.
Do you know what kind of fiend it is?
No. It could be if someone's familiar, something harmless, or Lord of Hell. Equally likely, as far as I'm concerned.
That's quite the scale.
Which is why I said we should just have a look and then decide whether to go with your way of doing things or my way of doing things.
Oh, I'm not sure my way of doing things is my way of doing things anymore. Maybe your way is wiser. There's a lot of children here. We should take a look.
We'll do that. You mind going first? I will have
Oh.
your back.
Sorry, Mick. What do you mean your way and my way of doing things?
Well,
The
the
last time we ran into bother, when we stayed to try and help each other out, you ran. Was that your way of doing things? The first time we ran into bother, when we were trying to run away, you were insistent on staying. So it seems to me that your way of doing things is just the opposite of whatever we're doing.
Well, it just so happens that I estimate threats at it in a different way than you do. My ways depend heavily on the situation. I don't tend to act on a consistent basis. I tend to estimate each situation and make a decision based on that. That is how you survive. The certain situation that well, I've lived through where I simply cannot afford to have one way of doing things. I just had to make everything up as I went along. I had no control over my environment or my own safety, or the safety of the others around me.
Well, I'm glad you've said you make things up as you go along. I'm much less inclined to believe in your way of doing things then.
My way of doing things is thinking on the spot. I guess if you have to narrow it down. There's nothing against the way you do things, or the two of you decide to do things. I'm just that is my way.
I don't even know anymore, Milton. This
Just,
place is so twisted. It's so wrong.
Milton put his hand on the shoulder of the kid, reaffirming, little squeeze on the shoulder. Just point back out into the road, look back out to the road. Good luck. Turn his back.
Where are you sending her?
No, the good luck was for you and Mick. Go if you're going into the house.
Oh, I see.
I'm staying outside and keeping the kid with me.
Alright then, Milton, should we go upstairs?
Absence.
Yeah. Are there GM? Are there any other people in this corridor?
No. Would you like to try and make your way stealthily, or just stroll on in?
Stealthily, yes, but I'm going to take my blindfold off, obviously.
You can also have advantage because everyone's attention is on Darsin currently.
Yeah. And Alessandro is kind of hoping that they're going to search the building, so he's also kind of stood in the doorway trying to block any, like, just to give them a bit of time and to block any viewpoints.
You're fine.
22. Yeah, and I'm taking the blindfold off.
Okay. Who's heading upstairs? You, Absence, anyone else?
I think Mick as well.
Mick,
Yeah.
can I have stealth?
Crowford's going to have to go so the stream can see.
Let's create. Ah, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. I'll bring Crowford too.
And Cauliflower is also coming with me.
Right, let's bring you upstairs.
While that's happening, can I just can Alessandra kind of survey the crowd that's now formed around Darsin, and do the kids look okay? Do they generally look healthy? Do any of them look like they've had beatings recently?
Right, so if you look at the children, they look happy enough. You would notice, though, a few of them have like the odd bruise on their arm or their cheek, the odd scratch. And I mean, you would get that with children, but I'd say more substantial than you'd get from a falling over.
Okay. Can I... If I'm aware that Absence and Mick have made their move, I'll turn to the old lady and I'm like, sorry, I don't believe I actually caught your name.
My apologies. I am Headmistress Claudia Belasco. You may call me Miss Belasco, and I will try and remember that I have an accent like everyone else in this world.
Velasco. The children, quite a few of them look like they have injuries. Is there any particular reason for that?
She will look around to see if anyone else is with you. Let us step outside into the corridor. Away from the children. Not spoil this for them. It is difficult to explain because I cannot really explain it. Children bump and bruise themselves, of course they do all the time, but yes, they have been more substantial of late in the past couple of weeks or so. I'm not really sure what is going on. I assume one of the children is maybe bullying the others, but I am yet to catch anyone actually in the act of such a thing.
Have any of them talked to you about this?
No. They do not generally look to me as a confidant. I am the headmistress of this place. I am the keeper of order. I look after them as best I can, but obviously I am no replacement for the families they have lost. When I have questioned them about it, they don't say any names. They simply say that they woke up like that. That they went to bed and they were fine, and when they woke up they had a bruise.
Can I insight check her? She said that she cares for them as best she can, and then just generally the idea of they go to bed fine and then they wake up with a bruise or some such.
For the 19, all honest.
Okay, now we're on to something. Okay, would it be possible if my companion here, and I'll point to Irina, if my companion and I take a look around? It seems quite odd that the children getting hurt in the night. Would it be okay if we just get a feel for the place?
You are asking to walk around unsupervised.
You can come with us if you so wish.
I would most definitely prefer that. You are, no offense, strangers to me.
Strangers around children. I am.
Yes.
Yes. No, I can appreciate that. Okay.
And a couple of the older girls are upstairs. You feel free to talk to the children as well. They will not bite.
That is particularly reassuring.
Sorry, on this floor, as you can see, there's an outside space for them to run around in, and a little kitchen through there, but we can head upstairs if you like.
Let's make sure that we have a proper understanding of what is down here first, shall we? So I think Alexander's now just going to try and keep her busy so that the others can search upstairs.
Yeah, no problem. We'll cut to the others. Hi, others.
Oh. I've got Cauliflower still in my lap. But she will fly around and keep her feeling good up. and look through the rooms to see if she can find the
So obviously you're in another hallway. As you can see, some of the doors are wide open, and as she peers into them, you'll see an assortment of unmade beds, toys, clothes strewn across the place here and there, but mostly tidy, definitely clean. At the other end of the hallway, you will see a boarded up window, and this ladder directly in front of you seeming to lead upstairs. I could tell you immediately that Cauliflower would no, it's not this floor, it's the floor above.
Yeah, I'll let Absence know.
It's always got to be in the attic, hasn't it? Always the attic.
It appears so, yes.
Do we go up, or
Um,
is there a way to check?
yeah, and I'll send Cauliflower upstairs first, just to have a quick, just basically poke her head through the top floor to see what's up there.
Yeah, she would see an attic looking pretty barren, choked with dust. It's not really been used, clearly. And in the corner of the room, a small boy, the source of your ping. But because it's a hatch that would have to open, the boy also sees Cauliflower.
Also, well, I'll alert Absence that basically what I've seen up there.
It's just a child.
Well, probably not. I can't think the child's the theme. I just know that the theme up there might be a child, might be.
What magic are you using to tell?
Technical and good.
Could it be wrong?
No. You can miss something, but you can't be wrong about something.
Hmm.
As you're talking, a little boy's head would poke out of the hatch, sort of reaching for the kitty. He's a pale boy of about 8 or 9. Typical Barovian affair. And he doesn't really acknowledge you immediately. He's just looking at Cauliflower going, "What are you?" And then he'll notice you. "What are you?"
I haven't got a blindfold on, by the way, so.
"Oh, lovely. Then we will roll for that. Thank you for reminding me. There's too many characters."
Cue the extreme feared child.
Yeah, I'm probably trying to avoid looking at Mick, to be honest, as well.
And sorry, but not going to say his name. The child is going to let out a scream and withdraw back into the attic.
Okay.
And that is going to draw the headmistress's attention. "What was that? I'm sorry.
I don't
You
know.
must
Is that
excuse me."
normal for this place?
She's just heading upstairs.
Alexander's following her close on her heels. What in
Actually-
the world was that? And he'll be shouting so that they can hear that they're coming.
I'll grab Absence quickly and pull it to the wall, over here, and then silent image, basically the wall in front of it.
I'll put my blindfold back on.
Darsin's going to be playing louder to try. Well, he's going to attempt to be playing louder to try and distract the kids.
Yeah, they hear screams all the time. They're fine.
Bit dire.
Not like blood curdling. It's the kids. I don't have much interaction with kids. I just assume that they scream a lot. Okay. DC investigation. Well, she wouldn't notice immediately, and Felix wouldn't be there. This door would open. One of the girls would come out. Headmistress? Tanya, what was that? Was that you? No. I don't know who else is up here. The headmistress. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna sort of grab Absence by the hand and pull him towards the doorway. And I can use my action to move the image a little bit. So basically, I'm projecting the image of whatever is there without us on top of us. And just kind of get Absence to move to this room with me.
Sneaky. I like it. Her attention's not there. You managed to do that. The headmistress will sort of... I can't be bothered to bring her to and fro, but she'll run downstairs quickly, do a head count, run upstairs and see the two girls and the baby in the room, and look up at the hatch. Felix! Are you up there? Eventually, this boy will appear at the hatch. Was it you that screamed? Yes? What did you scream at? Saw something scary? Well, of course you saw something scary. You're in the attic. Get down here. You'll be covered in dust. So just diligently doing what he's told. He'll come in. Make his way into this room. Shut the door. Right. I apologise for that, Alessandra, Irina, that I forgot to bring over. So, up here you will find all of the dormitories. There was Felix, that is the boys' room, through here, as you can see. Mind out the way. And the taller girl will go
to hide.
back inside. So she's showing you the nurseries, so you can do what you like whilst they're in the middle of that.
Hide under the bed.
Hide under the bed. Yeah, hide under the bed, and then again, silent image to basically rubble under the bed, something else like on top of me. It's not me.
I mean, there's maybe some pajamas.
Yeah,
Rubble.
maybe boxes or pajamas. Basically,
Yeah,
a visual
they're
of
pretty
something.
sparse rooms, so you can have some pajamas. They don't cover your body entirely, but you can get under the bed. You're small enough. Absence, I have a different story for you. You're 6 foot, and a child's bed is not 6 foot. You can curl up.
Yeah, I will curl up in a ball.
basically.
Right, cut back to the nursery. So you will see, what will you see? 2 cribs, an old rocking chair, the older teenage girl that the headmistress has referred to as Tanya is rocking the baby that has started crying since that scream that's in the crib. The other crib is empty, and on the floor in the corner is another little girl just reading quietly.
And Headmistress Velasco said that I was allowed to ask the children questions, didn't she? Okay. Just don't want to seem like a creep. So I'll ask the girls. Is there often screaming like that?
No. Which one do you ask? The older one or the younger one?
I'll probably just kind of ask it generally to them. So probably more to the older girl. But
The
I'll
old
try
girl
and give the girl in the look.
will talk in a hushed voice as she's trying to shush the child, but she'll say, "It is a house full of children. It is always noisy." That's all she'd say, yeah.
It does not make you feel unsafe here?
I don't feel unsafe here, no.
I'm going to attempt to insight check for as much as I can with the headmistress stood over my shoulder. Nope. It's a free. I'm not used to being around children. I don't know how to read them at all.
She seems very honest. No, I don't feel afraid. I don't have time to be afraid. I'm helping headmistress with all of these little ones.
Do you like helping with the younger children?
Yes. I know the headmistress has a lot on her hands, and I think I am good with them. So, what else would I do? This is all the
I'll
older child, by the way. The other
Yeah.
child is not answering, she's just reading a book.
I'll turn to the headmistress and headmistress, I can see that they are reading. Do they have much schooling here?
I give lessons in the morning to, we've separated them into the older girls and boys over 10 and the younger ones. They have different syllabuses, obviously. Yes, they do receive an education from myself.
That is very, very good to hear. Girls, do tell me, there's seeing some of the other children, and do the girls also look like they've got bruises or cuts or scrapes? Or do they look
The younger
okay?
one does.
Okay. Excuse me, girl. Sorry, my name is Alexander, and I'll be talking to the younger one. There's a young girl that I'm in charge of, and I'm thinking that she may come and live here. And I was just wondering, how do you feel about being in this place? You seem to have been injured quite recently, and I was just wondering how that has happened. And
I'd
he'll
like to
crouch
know.
down and he'll try and have a softer voice to ask her. He doesn't want them to seem too scary.
I would like to know how it happened. I just woke up like this.
So check a child again, and it's not going to work. 14. Telling the truth?
And the truth, as far as you know. reading a book on grammar.
Oh, I'm so proud of her. Well, thank you for your honesty and thank you for answering my questions. We will get out of your way, and I'll nod to the older girl and start to leave the room.
Before you go, she'll shout out. Yeah. Are we getting a new friend? Is that why you're here?
Maybe. If I can be assured that she will be in safe hands.
I'd like a new friend.
Doesn't sound at all ominous. Well, we will see. Do you think there is any reason why a new child shouldn't join you here?
You'll sort of look down and think, really think like kids do, make a thinking face. I don't think so. Everyone is nice, really. I mean, some of the boys are annoying and Felix is weird, but if it's a girl, she can play with us.
And you will keep her safe?
She'll nod at you.
When you say that Felix is weird, he was the boy who screamed just, wasn't he?
Yes.
In what way is he weird?
He doesn't play with any of us. He just looks around on his own.
How long has he been here?
She'll screw up her face in a thinking face again and then look at Headmistress Belasco. And she'll say, about a month.
Okay. Well, I am sure if my little Myrtle does come and stay here, she will be just so lucky to have you as a friend and to look out for her. Thank you very much for giving such full answers to my questions. And at that point, he will then start to leave the room, but he's going to go out into the hallway and wait for Headmistress Velasco.
Yeah, she'll file out after you. The little girl will give you a big smile and wave as you leave.
Alexander will do his best to smile and wave back at children, but they still creep him out, so a little bit half-hearted. Headmistress, with the children going to sleep and then waking up with injuries, how long has that been happening for?
A couple of weeks, I think.
A couple of weeks? About
Yes.
a month?
No, just recently.
Okay. Well, shall we finish our tour of downstairs then? Because I'm sure all the bedrooms are very much the same. Once you've seen one, you've seen them all.
Oh, well, yes, well, how old is the little girl that you are bringing?
I'm not very good with ages, but she's about this tall, and he'll kind of generally hold his hand at her height, not having a clue how old she might be.
Okay, I think probably younger. Anyway, let me show you the girls' dormitory, and she'll show you through here. And have some boring spiel about how the girls generally keep their rooms tidier than the boys, yada yada. Cut back to the other two. Are you just sitting there waiting?
We can't really leave, can we? What do we do, Mick? Do we just go? Do we walk out like we're inspecting the room? Me and my blindfold?
No, that wouldn't make sense, would it?
No.
We've got to look out of the window, see how high it is.
So you're on the first floor, so let's call that 10 feet.
We can jump, or we can go back upstairs and investigate the child. I'll tell the others, and then we can just confront them about it.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll go out the window. I can fall safely. You'll get away with probably explaining that you were just looking at the dormitories.
Did Nick get the chance to see any of the kids at all?
Sorry, say again?
Did Nick get the chance to see any of the kids? Like
You'd have seen them in the main room on your way up, yeah. Happily listening to Darsin play.
I'm just gonna do something everyone. Okay, I'm gonna wait for Absence to jump out of the window.
Okay, I shall jump out the window. Have safe fall. Slow fall even.
Yeah, so I guess at some point during your set, Darsin, Red Tiefling will slow fall past the window.
Are we level 4?
Yes, sorry.
Thank you. Just slow fall, I know, is a monk level 4 ability. Excellent. Thank you.
Sorry, Nick. They're very interchangeable.
That's right. Yeah.
That'll be a moment for Darsin though, where he's playing and he notices and he's just like, "The fuck?"
Yeah, the kids are entranced by you, but out the corner of your eye, there he goes.
Yeah, you just see him sort of grabbing onto the wall to slow his descent.
Huh.
Oh, hang on, has he seen my face?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's the corner of his eye. I would say you're playing, so passive perception, you're all right. I just did that for flavour, because it's funny.
Mick is gonna use disguise self and turn into Felix.
It's an even plan!
Yes. Even plan.
As long as he doesn't meet the other Felix, he'll be okay.
And she will walk out. And guess meet everyone else there. I'll put my head through the door and try to imitate Felix's voice best I can. Now, hello? Who are the new people?
Oh. Well, Felix, they are looking around for a child they know who has recently been orphaned. They may come stay with us. It's nice of you to say hello.
That is really, really cool. I'm gonna go downstairs and play with everyone else now, if that's okay with you.
She will just look taken aback. Please, go!
Thank you. Instead, she will go upstairs. And she will close the door behind her.
You were in the other room when that happened. you go upstairs, and nothing is there.
Can I have a good look around the room, please?
Yeah. Do you want to do perception or investigation?
Yeah, I'll do reception. Can I have Cauliflower help me?
Yeah, that's fine.
Can I have Crowford spy?
Yes, you can. Where is Crowford?
It's on the landing.
Hello, Crowford.
Sorry, he's the stream cam for most of today.
Yes. Oh, very good, very good. Yeah, it's as I said from your brief glimpse, an attic. It's very barren of any furnishings. There's just a lot of empty boxes, lots of dust and cobwebs. Pretty much just a storage space. There is a chair by the lone window in the room, in the corner, and by the chair is a little, well, what looks like it's going to be a little wooden doll. It's clearly in the process of being carved out into this humanoid shape.
Can I examine the door carefully?
Yeah, do you want to roll investigation? It is a wooden doll.
It's a wooden door. Shit, I don't have the technology.
Roll investigation.
I will. Apologies. I will put it in my backpack or a bag that I have with me,
You can
and then
do
I
that.
will run downstairs and, as I'm on the stairs, turn back into myself, just in case Felix is downstairs, like between the stairs from the first floor and the ground floor.
Gotcha. Okay.
Thank you.
So I'll bring you back to the ground floor, and Crowford, you can come back stairs. Alessandro, the mistress will walk out and say, "Is there anything else that you wanted to see?"
No, I suppose we could talk about the nutritional diet plans that you must have the children on. But other than that, I think we've probably seen everything that we need to see. And he'll then also start making his way down and out of the building, hoping that everyone has done the sneaking that they need to.
I would love to drag you across, but the game has kicked me out again. At least it's kicked me out fewer times than last week, so you can actually use the maps. But yeah, you can make your way downstairs, and she'll ask if you want to step into her office to talk about their nutritional diet plan. And you can discuss that for a while until I assume you want to leave.
Yeah, just making sure that everyone's
Out.
like, yeah.
Yeah, you can do all of that. You successfully pulled an even plan. I mean, well done. You gonna let Darsin know you're leaving? Or does he work there now?
I think he's found a new career as a child entertainer.
As you assumably let Darsin, or Darsin notices people filing out through the window. The children will sort of paw at you with their sticky hands, because that's what children do, right? Just they don't want you to
just
go.
tiny drunken adults.
And one more song.
I'm sorry, I have to go. It's my troop is leaving.
Will you come back?
No. Just like your parents, you'll never see me again.
Oh,
And he's out.
Oh, you've created a non-golden retriever.
That was brilliant.
No, that is not brilliant. Nick, do not reward that behaviour.
Yeah,
You
it
passed-
feels bad to be praised by Nick.
You just pass this
Yeah, you don't know.
woman, the headmistress, her face taken aback, like, oh,
I don't like to be dishonest.
yeah, you can all successfully leave.
You
Get
didn't need to
out.
bring the parents into it.
No.
Or is the kid
Yeah,
staying? Does it meet the standards?
I'm slightly concerned about these injuries that they've been. They all seem to have been getting at night. Does anyone know what might be causing them? It didn't seem to be the other children, because I'm sure that at least some of them would wake up if they were being hurt by another child.
It seems there is a fiend living in the top floor. Don't know if that's relevant.
What exactly do you mean by fiend, Nick?
A fiend? Oh, I don't know what kind. Could be anything, but it's a fiend.
Alexander's lived a sheltered life. He doesn't quite know what a fiend is, so he's very confused by this. But he's like, could that be the cause of their injuries?
Yes, I think so. It could be.
The headmistress know about this fiend? Is she keeping it here willingly and knowingly?
That I don't know.
She seems to, as far as I can tell, actually care for the children. I don't think you'd have a fiend here if you knew about it and you knew that it was hurting them, if you do actually care for them.
Well, could be she doesn't know.
Or maybe we need to get rid of the fiend and then we're all good.
Yeah.
Would you know how to get rid of it?
Kill it?
Cast spells at it, hit it with things.
Were you able to get upstairs and actually see the fiend?
Well, I've been upstairs, but I couldn't see it.
Where was it?
I don't know. I just know it was upstairs.
Okay. Did we talk to the headmistress now?
You think she's being honest and cares for these children, and I think she would want to know.
Yeah. And I wouldn't want to leave Myrtle here whilst it's still here and still hurting the children.
Tell the headmistress we can offer to make it safe, and then we can move on.
This seems sensible to me.
Okay, well, you two seem to know more about this kind of thing than I do. Would you be more willing to speak to her about this?
We could.
She might ask how we know.
In that case, I'll just tell her.
Yes, because I don't really know how Nick knows. So.
I cast a spell.
Oh, yes, because that's normal.
I'll leave that up to you. When it comes to time to deal with it, then I'm happy to help.
Alright, well, let's talk to her.
Before we go back in, can I just check on Absence? Is Absence still about? Is he blindfolded? Is he okay?
Is he feeling sorry for himself in a car park somewhere?
He's outside. He's basically outside the door, leaning against the wall.
Drinking strong lager.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's got his blindfold sort of on his forehead, and if anyone comes out the door, he'll slide it down quickly.
Oh, there you are. Sorry, I
Bit like
couldn't see you.
bit like a COVID
Oh,
mask.
sorry. I didn't move you.
Okay.
Also, that was gold, Steve. I was about to say the same thing.
Oh, Mick found a fiend then.
Yeah, do you know much about them?
What are you implying?
Well, most people seem to have had more worldly experience than I, and I have no clue what a fiend is. I was just wondering if you did. I've already asked, well, at least these two. Darsin, do you know much about fiends?
Is it because I is tiefling?
Do I know much about fiends? Having lived in Ravenloft?
Your
for-
experience in Ravenloft, I don't know that you'd have actually come across any fiends. Maybe in your previous life in Faerun, you might have met tieflings like Absence before and know that he is not a fiend. But I don't know that you would. You might know of them, but you've never met one.
But I probably also...
I'm related to fiends, aren't I? Effectively.
You probably hear the idea there's a fiend living in an orphanage and go, that sounds pretty standard for place. So yeah, no, I'm afraid I don't know anything, but given a lot of the stuff I've heard of Barovia, it sounds pretty standard that you would find a monster in a place like this.
Okay, with that, Alexander's gonna go back in and check the office for Headmistress Velasco.
I was watching Discord. Where's Foundry gone? Where is Headmistress Belasco? What?
You
Is
left
she
her
on the
upstairs.
first floor?
I left her upstairs. She would be in her office, yes.
Okay.
No. Back again,
I-
so
I-
soon. Your friend was quite inappropriate, you know.
He's not really a friend. Only known him a couple of hours. I do apologise. There is something I would like to talk to you about. I know is the teenage boy and the young girl actually in the office at the moment, or are they just ghosts of a distant memory? Okay. There's some of my companions outside. They've become aware of something within these walls, and we're concerned that it might be the cause of the injuries that the children have been sustaining over the last few weeks. If you would talk to them, they can explain this in more detail than I can, as I'm not completely sure of what they speak.
Well,
Would that be okay?
I cast a spell, just as a matter of precaution. It seems that there was something on the top floor.
You are outside and you cast a spell and there is something on our top floor.
Yes.
Oh, well, to quell any suspicion, I'm happy to escort you up there, but... What something? What... We do not have many magic users here in Barovia, so... I'm sorry if I'm a little confused, but...
It's something bad. I can tell you that much, but going into detail would only stress you, I presume?
I feel like I would know if something bad was living in my orphanage.
Well, you just said you don't know much about magic, and there's not a lot of magic used in Barovia, so your experience with those kinds of things would be limited. You might not have noticed.
She'll purse her lips and look down her nose at you. Very well. Let's go upstairs then. And it's kicked me out again. But you know what the attic looks like now. Deal with it. It's as you left it. Have you still got? How long does the spell last? Is it still up?
No, but it's it's 10 minutes. But the spell doesn't tell me, it doesn't show me where it is. Just telling me there's something there within 30 feet, so it doesn't tell me
Right.
exactly where.
Well, you'll get up to this empty attic, and she'll say, "Well,
Do you have any way, Alexander, of having a closer look at the room?
Would it be okay if we have a bit more of a look around, Headmistress Velasco?
feel free. Just you're going to get very dusty."
Okay, and can I then do a search for any kind of trapdoors, any kind of weirdness?
Perception, please.
Would it be 22.
There is nothing suspicious about this room. There is no hidden door. There is no. I don't know what you would expect to find. No, you don't touch something and realize it's a false wall or there's someone invisible in there. It is an empty room.
Would you mind if we brought some of our friends upstairs to have a better look? Their skills might be better suited for us.
She's looking quite put out now. Honestly, I mean, I have things to be doing, but if you must, go ahead, come on.
I promise you, it would not take long, and you can just go about your way. And as you said, if there's nothing up here, then nothing will come of this. If there is, we'll deal with it, and then let me know.
I'm doing this because you have said there is a threat to the children in here.
There might very well be.
When we came up here earlier, there was the scream. It came from a young boy who had been up here. Where is he now?
He wasn't downstairs, so he must be in his room.
Isn't this?
Is there any reason?
I missed the end of that. Sorry, Hazel.
I was just going to say, is there any reason he would have been up here?
As Tessa said, he is a bit of a loner.
He is the boy that she said was strange and does not want to spend time with her, and then came into the room saying that he would go downstairs to play.
Yes, that
It's
was
the same boy?
strange. But I suppose you can see mood swings in a boy of his age like that. I hope I see a bit more of him like that. It would mean that he's actually starting to fit in, but on the whole, yes, he tends to keep himself to himself.
Next, could this fiend be a young boy?
I don't know about this in depth. Would I be able to do some sort of check?
Yeah, they'll call it nature or history?
Either is bad. Yep.
You're not sure. To you, fiends are big, scary things with teeth and horns.
I'm gonna go downstairs and try to get everyone else to come up here.
Oh, okay. The attic.
Let's see if any of them might have skills like detect magic or anything like that.
Absence as well.
Yeah, I'm happy to go.
Milton as well.
I'll go.
Myrtle as well.
Full on party. Yeah, bring the
Not
child.
Myrtle. No.
Yes.
What?
Another one bites the dust.
Who am I missing? Absence, where are you? Why do I keep losing you?
Near the front door, I think I was. I'm not now, though. You moved me to the attic.
Did I?
You must have, because that's where I am now.
I can't see you, but okay. Oh, hi.
Yeah, I was underneath Milton.
Of course you were. He's guiding you round.
Not for the first time, not for the last.
Have you got your blindfold on, or does the headmistress need to make a check?
I've got it on at the moment, but I'll probably, is she up the attic or is she behind us or what's the deal?
He's in the attic with you. You can ask her to step out. It is getting quite crowded.
Yeah, I will. I'll start to lift the lift the blindfold slowly, just to give others the, to let them know that I'm about to take it off, because I can't see she's here. Is it safe to take this off?
We'll go through the motions of, oh, can you step outside? Can we just have a look? Okay, yes, fine, and she'll go.
Yeah, she'll. Okay, who hasn't seen me yet?
Right, Darsin and Mick.
Yep.
Should we just get it over with?
Yeah! Can I have a wisdom saving throw, Darsin and Mick?
Well, I was gonna keep my eyes closed until they're
Oh,
ready.
okay, yeah. Sorry, I thought you were saying you're saying Inkarnate. Never mind.
Yeah.
Alessandra will have picked up Myrtle and will be holding her with her head to his chest so she can't say.
I rolled an 18 in D&D Beyond Awkward Beyond 20 thing. I forgot to turn it on when I started the stream. And
No worries. You're both okay. You're not. He has glowing red eyes, but he's still absent.
Yay!
interesting appearance you have there.
Well, you reacted better than Alexander did, that's for sure.
I've been here a long time. It's far from the strangest thing I've seen.
Do any of you have any skills to detect something that might be invisible?
Not prepared.
I could flail around wildly and hope I hit something.
I hate to suggest the obvious. But if you're
Let me just
struggling,
form a line.
if you're struggling to find something here, do you perhaps think it might have used an opportunity to leave and go somewhere else?
That is quite possible. Unfortunately, my class is spelled again today.
There was previously a small boy up here. He's been described as strange by some of the other children, and according to the headmistress herself, he is acting weirdly at the moment. It could be that if he is what originally Mick was able to detect, he is now not here, and that's why we can't find anything.
We won't find him then.
Are you still detecting it in here?
My spell is not on.
Ah,
Darsin, for the benefit of this, is going to use the second level spell Detect Thoughts, with the intention of basically blanketing the area. So one of the descriptions is you can use the spell to detect the presence of thinking creatures you can't see. You can search for thoughts within 30 feet of you. The spell can't penetrate barriers. But 2 feet of rock or 2 inches of metal or lead or anything like that will block it.
Okay, so there's nothing invisible thinking in here. Is it because I've experienced Neven using this in another game? Do you have to focus in on some one individual's thoughts, or is it a blanket Professor Xavier hears all?
There's there's two things you can do with the spell. One is focus on a specific person. The other is what James described, which is just basically to scan the area for thoughts, so you get you know if there's people there.
Yeah, I don't think you get to know what they're thinking, you just get to know that there's
No.
something that's thinking.
Yeah.
Then the correct amount of people are thinking in here.
I don't. He's not going to admit he can do that. So he's just going to be there going, I get the strong impression there's no one in here that's not meant to be in here.
well, next floor down then.
Yeah. I'm gonna look around the house for Felix.
So for Felix,
Yeah.
yeah. Let me bring you down to the second floor, where Headmistress Belasco also is. She will take interest in Myrtle and look to Irina to introduce them, and she'll start showing them round. And you can do that thing you do so well and open doors.
Okay, so I think Darsin's just entered Felix's room. So upon opening the door, from the look of the room, I think the first thing everyone else is going to hear is the shock of surprise and the state of the room. That's probably going to translate to Darsin yelling, "Loth, cobwebbed crevice, what happened to this room?"
You'll hear from outside the headmistress say, that's Felix's room. Please, be nice.
You're a bad
Felix.
room.
I'll ask Felix. Felix, do you get this room to yourself?
Mm-hmm. Why are you in my room?
We're having a tour of the orphanage.
Okay.
May I ask, do you like it here?
No.
Oh, and why not?
Everyone is so childish.
Well, they are mostly children. Is there anything else? Any other reason you don't like it here?
It's just quite boring.
Oh. And what is it that you do to entertain yourself when you can?
I read. He doesn't really make eye contact with you.
I Alexander, still freaked out by children, just kind of, he's tried. He's not getting much responses. He's just going to kind of step away slightly.
Detect thoughts.
The focus in on one, detect thoughts.
Yeah. So that's it's a DC 14 Wisdom save from Felix or Felix, whatever the kid's name is. Felix.
You can see surface thoughts without a check. It's only
surface thoughts.
deeper, yeah. You dig deeper for specific information, then that's what you need.
Well, on the surface, you would hear something along the lines of "stupid mortal ants," and was it a wisdom check? Did you say?
Yep.
Ten. Okay. What would you hear?
It says if it fails, you gain insight to its reasoning, its emotional state, and something that looms large in its mind. Either way, the target knows that you're probing into its mind, unless you shift your attention to another creature's thoughts. So it's going to know.
So it will look at Felix will look at you alarmed. Its reasoning is you'll hear something like, "Not much longer now. We will be rid of this prison. Wait for them to leave. Don't attract attention," but then a snap as it realizes its mind has been penetrated, and you'll hear something like, "That was a really stupid idea." And on that note, well, let's leave it with, you'll see Felix sort of slump forward. Luckily, he's sat on his bed. And from Felix's form, these shadowy tendrils escape from his body and make this sort of humanoid form. And we will roll initiative next time.
I found it.
Ooh.
Cool.
Thanks, guys.
Why do we keep doing this to ourselves?
To be fair, I didn't know it would
Why is
know.
it always? Why is it always children?
That's what
Always
heroes
children.
do.
I do feel
seems
like it's becoming predictable.
Yeah, it does feel like that's what heroes do, but unfortunately in Barovia, that's what gets heroes killed.
I'll be
Let's
fine.
see. Let's show you. Show artwork. Where is he? Oh, that doesn't help much.
Oh.
Spooky.
Oh,
There's your boy.
Well, Felix, see you in a couple of weeks.
Since we're streaming this, I feel like I should say thank you to Mandy Mod, the Reddit user, who created this orphanage sort of side quest as an expansion to Curse of Strahd. It's really cool. The map as well. I think all of the maps that you saw were made by Aeonbar Cartography, and all of the sound is from Soundscape or Travis Savoy's album Into the Mist. Yeah, there's loads of really helpful people out there on the internet.
Nice.
awesome. Yeah, nice maps as well.
Yeah.
And the music, I like the music.
There's whole Curse of Strahd albums out there. It's very handy.
Yeah, it's been delightful. Would you like to say any closing statements before the stream ends? Anyone?
Do we have an outro?
Don't trust children. They only bring bad things
And if
into your life.
Do you know what? I always wanted to run Curse of Strahd, and I could never get any of my friends. I had loads of Ravenloft stuff back 2nd edition AD&D. Loads of Ravenloft stuff. No one ever wanted to play it. And I realise now that it takes a particular kind of player to get the most out of Ravenloft, doesn't it? And I think we've got the right group for it here.
Oh, V's done a fucking outstanding job running it as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially for a first time DMing something.
That's very sweet of you.
Mm.
Again, Reddit has been a lot of help.
It's the best time to start D&D, I think. Whether it's playing or GMing, it's just like you say. There's so much resource out there, so many people willing to help. But yeah, I think Jamie's right. You've done a cracking job.
I can look back on this, and when I feel sad, and my ego will be like,
yeah, there you go. You can do a little highlight of just this bit.
more things about how great I am.
But I will be honest, Absence is feeling quite bleak right now.
Bye, Steve. Steve's got to go.
Bye, Steve.
Bye, Steve. I bit my tongue with Darsin a lot to make sure he wasn't like, yeah, it's pretty fucking hopeless.
Bye, Nick.
He absolutely
Bye, Nick.
loved him. Bye, Nick.
Bye, Nick.
So, seeing as they've gone, shall we end the stream then?
Yeah, cool.
Right,
Yeah, you can do.
Thank you if anyone watched.
Anyone that isn't us.